Hello.
Hey, Don.
Glad you guys are here.
Hi, Don.
How is everyone?
Good.
Good. I don't know if you guys heard, but yesterday they fixed the problem at 5 or 8 minutes after the hour.
Good.
Yeah, just nailed that timing, didn't they?
Yep.
Apparently it was a pretty significant problem. All right, let's pull up our page here. Anybody have anything to share about what they did, what was going on over the holidays? Did you do anything cool? Stephanie, are you shooting? Are you currently in the gig?
Hey, running outside. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent 3 hours at that power plant yesterday. So it was very,
Nice.
very, very, very cool.
Very nice. Now you're not charging them by the hour, right?
We ended up he wanted to do it by the hour, but he did a 30-hour minimum.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like $5,000 or $6,000 by
There
the
you
time.
go. Okay, good.
So
You know that 30-hour minimum? I bet you at least do 50% more than that, because they always underestimate when they do that. So good for you. So that'll be 45 to 60 hours easy.
and we put that additional hours. So the 30 hours is $160 an hour, or 165. The additional hours are $150 an hour. Any additional editing is $45 an hour. Travel's $30 an hour plus mileage.
All right.
So I got through 3 hours and saw that place from top to bottom, and I was so giddy. I was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. I just can't even. I was so happy.
Well, that's great news, kiddo. Great news.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the portraits. Now, we covered so many portraits yesterday, a lot of people did not turn in a portrait. So I don't know what to do about that or say about that. Is Jim Brennan here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is your shot then, Jim.
Okay.
Now, who is that?
That's my neighbor.
Very cool.
It's a little underexposed in that upload. I didn't mean, I was having difficulty uploading, and then when I got it to go, I sent the wrong picture. So
Okay.
it's edited a little differently.
Okay. If you name it the same and you upload it, it'll actually overwrite the other photograph.
Okay.
And without telling you, by the way. So there's no safeguard. It'll just do it. So,
Okay.
Exposure looks pretty good to me. Good skin tones. A little bit edgy, and I like that. You've got all the detail in the beard, which is really important. Love the silver handle. Is the walking stick?
Yeah, it's cane.
Really nice, man. Really nice.
Thanks.
And what do we got? A big softbox, octobox, what?
I use clamshell lighting, so I used on top is about a 62 umbrella with a diffusion sock over it.
Mm-hmm.
Started with that, and then I didn't have the same size umbrella for the bottom, but I used a big 30-inch softbox on the bottom as well, and you can see those reflected in the corner of his eyes there.
The only time I think it makes a difference to have matching umbrellas is when you're doing a tight headshot and we get a lot of the eye reflection. For something like this just works fine. Really
okay.
Pretty. The gradient around it, the darker on the edge, is that post or is that how it shot?
No, that's how it came out.
How far away is he from the background?
What is that?
How far away from the background is he?
He's about 2 feet.
Okay, so right up on top of it. Yeah. Really, what I like about it, Jim, so much is this line you've got going here.
Well, what I tried to create, it's a series of triangles. So if you go from the 2 buckles on the right to the cane, that's one triangle. Then I have the triangle of his arms, the beard, and then the triangle of negative space above him.
Yeah.
So it's like a repetition.
Yeah, it's a nice, really nice flowing line. Plus his beard is a rectangle too.
Yeah.
What lens?
That was a 90 millimeter shot at probably 3.5.
Hasselblad or 35?
Yeah, Hasselblad.
Hasselblad.
Yep.
Very nice, man.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Thanks.
This is your.
That was my setup.
What's that?
That was my setup. That picture right there. That was the top umbrella.
Yeah, these soft lighters, they're just wonderful light, man. Just great light. Nicely done. Very much in your style too, Jim. It's very much in the same style that you use for your still life. Very minimal, real clean, well designed. Good.
Thank you.
You bet. Daniel Franks.
Good morning.
Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
Okay, how's your new year going so far?
So far, I can't beat it, huh? Can't beat it at all. Pretty happy. Except, Daniel,
Yes.
I have a cardiologist now. That just sucks. But
That's not a good way to start the year.
is insisting that I wear compression stockings.
That's just temporary though, right?
No, he said I'll be in the compression stockings the rest of my life,
Oh no.
all day long, except if I go to the beach.
Oh, that's pretty sexy, Don. Did you get the over the calf ones?
I did, with the little lace at the top. Yeah, my wife and kid had quite a field day with it, guys. They've had quite a field day. I will say this though. I wish my doctor had told me this after I got out of the DVT surgery 4 years ago, because my veins are really starting to stick out. And after wearing them for 3 days, wow, my legs aren't tired. My feet don't hurt. It's pretty cool. Oh, this getting old stuff. It's just great. It's just great. Wait till you get old, Stefani and Shivani. It's good. You're gonna love it. Anyway.
Hey, honestly, I feel if I'm lucky to make it to any age, I'll be okay with stockings or whatever.
Yeah, well, I just basically look at every day as, you open your eyes in the morning and go, okay, I got another one. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And
As I said, I mean, I lost 16 people last year. And I've already lost someone this year. So
Hi.
just yeah, I don't know what's going on in my life right now, but it was a lot last year, and
Well, that's a
being
lot for
faced
anybody. That's a lot for anybody, Shivani.
being faced with all that, it does make you think that you should do everything to stay healthy.
Oh.
You should go all the time to the doctor, rather go too often than not enough. And so yeah, if it ends up being stockings, I'll go for those.
And even more than that, Shivani, it should remind us to live every day. And not
Absolutely.
put everything. I talk to people and they go, "Oh, well, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to do this for 5 years, and I'm going to do this." And I think to myself, "Where's your guarantee?"
Yeah, I hear people telling me, "Oh, in 15 years when the kids are grown up, I'll do this and this and travel there and there." I'm like, no way, I'm doing it tomorrow.
Do it now. Do it now. Take the kids with you. Just
not that I have any, but I would agree with the other people. But yeah,
go and borrow some kids. There you go. All right, Daniel, nice shot here. It's got a really interesting feeling to it. So before we talk about lighting, I want to talk about post-processing. Did you pull the shadows up?
You know, it looks softer than what I uploaded. Interesting. Okay, now I just lost the video.
'Cause I'm not seeing any real blacks in this at all.
No, I didn't. I did not touch the blacks. They're actually pretty dark. I'm not sure why this looks so gray.
Oh, I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks bad at all. It looks a little HDR.
It looks different than what I thought I uploaded, definitely.
Oh, okay, maybe you uploaded the wrong one. Is that
Could
possible?
be, yeah. But it does look, the blacks are not as,
Some blacks up in here, but they're still open a little bit.
yeah, it's more open than I intended. Definitely.
Okay.
It looks grayer, yes. I'm not sure why.
Well, it has an interesting feel to it. That definitely looks some post, like post has been involved. But tell me about where this was and how you shot it.
Okay, this is at a nonprofit in Encinitas. It's west San Diego County, kind of near the ocean. And it's a Jewish nonprofit that has three main components, and two of which are this farm, which leases out sections and greenhouses and some acreage. It's about 60 some acres to other nonprofits to do kind of experimental group farming, community farming, and this particular person is in charge of the Coastal Roots group, and they grow food, and they have kind of a farmer's market where people come and pay what they're able to. They do deliveries of free groceries, free produce to Holocaust survivors in the San Diego area. And I literally had 5 minutes to photograph this person before she had to leave, because when I made arrangements, it was to photograph the other arm of this nonprofit, which was their office space. I originally wanted to shoot the farm, but they wouldn't give me permission because they're spraying chemicals. Most of the ground is fallow right now. And so they wanted me to do the office area where they provide office space for nonprofits and that kind of thing. It's like where you can rent an office space, hold meetings, one-on-one FaceTime, private meeting, just office space. And they gave me a quick tour of the office, and I'm like, yeah, I could photograph here, but I'd really like to do the farm. And they kind of hemmed and hawed, and finally they said, okay. They took me down to the farm area, and I had 5 minutes, and that was it. And this was one of the few shots I got that I liked.
Okay. Did you have time to set up a light or anything?
No, I brought lights, I brought stands, I brought umbrellas, I brought a diffuser, all to shoot in the office area. And when I came down here, I had no time except just to position her, give her a prop to hold, make sure she was near the sign, and that was it.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's when your client defeats you.
Yeah.
And there's, in most cases, just nothing else you can do.
Yeah, the person I had arranged to shoot with, when I arrived at the office, she said, no, I've got a meeting now. The other person that they suggested I would photograph wasn't there. And then the third person I was going to photograph was not ready. She did not know anything about it, even though I emailed the group. So fortunately, I did get to photograph on the farm, but it was just 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes.
If I was the editor for the magazine, I would say basically it's an okay shot and I can use it. Okay. But the blame isn't yours technically, but it's always yours reality. The last one to touch it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would recommend the next time you go to do something like this, you have at least a speed light, small soft box on it, on your hip. So you don't have to set up anything. You just pick it up, hold it over the camera, and shoot. If you think there's going to be any kind of time crunch, setting up stands, going back to the car and getting a C-stand, and that's going to crunch people out. But if there's any chance at all you're going to get the shot, make sure you have it, even if you don't use it.
Okay.
And I just get the one I use is I just use the one that has the little, it's the old 430 Canon that's got the little thing on the top of the camera with the cord. So I'm not dealing with, radio triggers and nothing working. And boom, I just hold it right up here and pop it. I put one of those little, it's about this big square softbox on it.
Okay.
Because it's going to be, what it's going to do is it's going to open up her face right here. See this dark shadow right here?
Yeah.
It's breaking up her face too much. If you can get rid of that in post, which you probably can, to take it, it'll take you some time, but you can do it. Then you got a winner.
Okay.
But it's breaking up her face here a little bit too much. Background, good choice of background. You got the V here, so you got leading lines, and you got the side of the building, so we got some depth over here and stuff back there. So overall, it's not a bad shot. It's just that last little bit of tweaking that sometimes our clients don't let us do, and then they get all upset about it.
Okay, thanks.
You bet. All right, the beekeeper here, John Calpin. John, are you here? All right. Mark is here? Yes.
I sure am.
All right, Mark, we got 2 shots here.
Yeah. Now, this is the funny thing. You were saying about loading it the second time it would overwrite. Because the first shot, I sort of realized, holy crap, I really had to rush this because we had a sewer backup on the Monday. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't bother with contrast sharpening or anything. So I loaded it a second time. So I'm not sure which one of these two is the one.
Oh, they're named different, Mark. This one is Mark Shaw-15. This is Mark Shaw-BTS-15.
Oh, that's supposed to be my behind the scenes shot. Well, it's BTS. It's 15, and that's the one.
This one here?
Okay.
Yep.
We'll go with the ones that I have here now. And they're good pads. They're high quality.
And the story on that is, I tried like crazy to get hold of the 2 local animal shelters, and just because of the Christmas holidays and everything else, I never got a response back. My neighbor, he just retired from the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, and he also plays in his local church, and he said, hey, I'd love to come over. So I shot Steve, and then the irony is that on Tuesday, the SPCA finally got back to me and said, yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to do that next week.
Excellent. Okay. This is a nice, clean shot of a musician, man. Not bad.
Well, Steve and I sort of went back and forth with this. He said, how do you want me to pose? And I said, Steve, I'll try and direct your hands, but I said, I want you to look natural. Just do something that you would normally do and relax. And he said, well, I hold my instrument in the bow like this. So that's how we did it.
This is how they hold it when they walk out onto stage.
Yeah, he says that's his Zen mode.
That's a viola, too.
Yep.
That's a really clean shot. That would be good for him as a PR shot. You've got him looking away. All he has to do is change the eyes, and it becomes a whole different picture. There's sometimes you want to get that backlight coming back here to separate them, and sometimes, like with this guy, he just separates himself. And this is a very nice, clean, one light shot. Very well done. I like it. I think your cropping right in here is, we got the bottom of the hand, and you go over here. If we started going down to get the bottom of the viola, it's going to change the picture too drastically. I think the viola is a large instrument. So you've done a very good job with this. What lens?
It was 24-70, and it was at about 46 millimeters.
Okay, and what's your light?
It was my Godox. It was the SK300, and it was the SK300, and I used a shoot-through umbrella.
Okay. Really clean. See how the shoot-through umbrella gives us a little bit. This is where your light was aimed.
Yep.
gives us a little bit hotter part right here, and it starts to fade off on both directions. I would say next time, make sure the center of the umbrella is coming right into the bridge of the nose here.
You know what, Don? We had a little problem because where I shoot, I only have a 7-foot ceiling because I tried to get it up. We were sitting there thumping the top of the ceiling with this thing. So.
Yeah. That's when you take the umbrella down and put up a box. And put the box right up next to the ceiling.
That's a good lesson to note for the future.
Yep. Very clean. I bet he likes this shot.
I haven't shown it to him yet. Well, he saw it on my laptop, but I'm going to send it to him probably tonight or tomorrow.
He'll like the shot. It's very classical music. Have you seen Rob Davidson's work?
No.
Rob Davidson. I think it's robdavidson.com, but if you do Rob Davidson Photography, New York City, he'll come up. Rob was one of our very first Project 52s, and he was working for the VH1 Save the Music Foundation. He was the director for that, and he wanted to be a photographer. And he asked us, we were all talking one day, and he said, what should I do? And I said, you shoot what you love. He said, well, I love music. I love classical music. I said, then focus on classical music. He says, I heard photographers don't make much money. I said, no, they're all shooting rock and roll. Here's the amount of photographers shooting rock and roll. Here's the amount of photographers shooting classical music. Rob is a significant classical music photographer now, being flown all over the world to shoot symphonies and orchestras in Germany, Japan, Buenos Aires. He shoots all the Yamaha musicians. And that's in just 6 years.
That's really encouraging. Don, I got to tell you something. I really appreciate your feedback because that is the first portrait I've ever shot.
See, now you forced me to hate you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a really good portrait for the first portrait. I wish my first portrait looked like that. That's clean, man. Good job.
Well, thank you very much, Don. I appreciate it.
You've definitely got at least, I don't think this was luck, so I'm not going to say you lucked out. I don't think it was luck. I think you applied what you know to making a photograph. And you came up with a good one.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate that.
Solid shot. We were talking last night, we were talking about the first jobs you get and whether you did Project 52 1 year or 2 years and had 104 assignments under your belt. I guarantee the phone's going to ring or you're going to get an email and it's going to be a job and it's going to be none of what you've done. It's going to be something else. But the key is the more we do all these things, and you shoot food and glassware and people and all of these different challenges, by the time you're done with this thing after a year, you can pretty much hold your own with any shot that comes along because you're going to extrapolate out what you know. Sometimes learning to shoot food helps you make better portraits and vice versa. Because everything just gets into the brain and we start thinking visually, and that's the key. So good shot.
Thanks again, Don.
You bet. Mike Carpenter. Mike, you here? Nope. Pierre. No, I'm sure Pierre's not here. Is Sophie here? Sophie? All right. Tell us about the plane guy.
So about 30 minutes from our house, there's a group, a nonprofit that provides aviation transportation to missionaries all over the world, Papua New Guinea, South America, everywhere. And this is the worldwide maintenance and training center where they bring all the planes back for the major refurbishments and helicopters and everything. And this guy in particular is the maintenance manager over all the mechanics that are there.
Okay, you got some nice lighting happening here, Stephanie, on this guy. Got some this light is this over here, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay. And then this
So-
little edge light here, is that another natural light, or do you have a strobe set up over there?
Nope, that's natural light.
Okay.
They had
And then-
skylights at the top of the hangar, and they had
Okay.
these fluorescent lights.
And
all
the fill, is that you?
Yes, there's in the behind the scenes. I've got a softbox that's
There we go.
just right in front of him.
Yeah. Oh, 35 at f2.5. Cool.
I love that new camera.
Long.
Love it. But so one thing that I did, because I got that new color checker, so I've been, working on white balance things, and I cut him out, and I used the white balance with the mixed daylight fluorescent light, and I white balanced all of the background, and then I pulled out the blues and cyans, and then on him I white balanced him for the strobe and made sure I got his warm skin color that I wanted. So there's two different complete white balance in there.
Very
Him and
nice.
background.
Very nice. Nice composition, by the way. Putting him right up here, right in the intersection of the lines.
And I thought too, I liked how it wrapped, the plane is wrapping around him.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I'm one of my favorite lenses these days is the 35 millimeter, and I've got two 35 f2s, but I think they make a faster one. Don't they make an 35 f1.4? Does anyone know?
They do.
They do. It's probably
this
fairly
one,
expensive one.
this one's, yeah, and this one's RF mount 35, and it's either a 1.4 or 1.8. I can't remember. But it's a lot smaller. This whole camera and setup, that lens is just tiny and light. It's super easy to carry around.
What I like about it is it gives us a wide view, 35 millimeters, gives us that nice view, but it also gives us depth of field that we're not used to with a wide field. If you do this on most lenses, the most 35 millimeters f4, you're going to be into focus up to about here. It starts to break down real fast as you get real wide with these lenses. And then obviously if you went with a 28, you're going to get almost all of this in focus, even at f2.5, because the 28 has so much depth of field built into it. But it's just a really nice feeling. It's a nice shot.
Yeah, and it was super hard working with him too. This was at the very end because he's an engineer through and through, super nervous. Every time he'd look at the camera, you could almost see the fear on his face. So it was probably an hour. This was after an hour of doing various things and show me this and how do you work that and take this apart. And then finally he kind of just relaxed and grab this one.
Well, good. Well thought out shot. Well designed. Very well designed. And I'm really happy you had your light box there. See these guys down here?
Yeah.
They go straight out. They don't go at a V.
Oh, right. If you push it all the way down.
You do. And the reason is that triangle is your power. Because right here you can knock it over easier.
Yeah.
Okay? Just hate to see that
really
crashing to the ground.
And it was a speed light. I've got the Yongnuo controller on my camera, and then I have that's like the 560 or whatever Yongnuo speed light.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great because you can just reach on your camera and change the power, but it's still tiny, like a little speed light. It seems to work good.
That's great. Nice to have that kind of power on location. You just got one in there?
One speed light?
One speed light?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What power was it on? Do you remember?
It was pretty low, like 32nd or 64th.
Okay.
Because at 2.5 or whatever, everything was, it was pretty. And I did bring the background down just a tad.
And what is your what's your ISO? Are you high here?
No, 320.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
I think if you go to the behind the scenes, it has the, I wrote it down on the bottom. So
You mean this here where I could read it?
yeah, right there.
What's the fun in that? All right, very cool. So you're shooting the mirrorless system now.
I am. And, you know, with as many comments as there are about how terrible this camera is, I just have no idea where they're coming from because I absolutely love it. The ISO is just,
the people who do that, I just look. There's one of the.
What camera are you using, Stephanie?
it's the brand new Canon EOS R mirrorless.
Mirrorless, yeah.
Frame mirrorless.
Oh, good for you! Congratulations. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. You know, the bottom line is that most of the people who complain about this camera or that camera, whatever, they're doing it to hear themselves complain, and they're also doing it to build a following, because there's nothing that will get you more people following you on your blog than to rag about somebody else's camera or post the I've ditched my DSLR and now I'm shooting fill in the blank, Sony, Fuji, whatever, and then some big long-winded explanation of why. No one cares. I mean, no, photographers don't care. Camera people care. You can be both. You can be a camera person and a photographer. There's no doubt about it. But that's all camera people talk, and it bores the hell out of me. So yeah, it is small and light. Yeah.
Yep. I had a goal last year to do a big enough job that I could upgrade, because my camera was 10 years old, and I forced myself to do everything I could on it, because I think that's a great way to learn, right? With the tools that you have. And then I got that job doing all the product photography and the website. And so then that allowed me to buy this camera. And then now taking it to the power plant yesterday, I was just over the moon because the ISO is so good on it. I can go in a room with no light whatsoever, shoot the natural yucky fluorescent, and then just color, use that color checker, change all the colors, and the pictures were just gorgeous. I was like, this is a tool to get me, what I need. It just is an awesome tool.
Yeah, I met a young photographer here in Phoenix who is doing adventure lifestyle photography, and he's shooting the Fuji the little XT1, XT2, tiny little cameras. I think
that's what I work with.
So Shivani, is that what you?
Yeah, I've got the Fuji mirrorless ones.
And he's got the Fuji prime lenses, so he's got 4 prime lenses, and the kit is tiny. It's, throw it over your shoulder. You got 4 lenses, 2 bodies, a flash, the whole bit in a case this big.
That's why I chose it, because most of my photography happens when I'm hiking or traveling.
And the image quality, he had some 11 by 17s with him. Image quality was awesome. It's just a beautiful, beautiful image. So it doesn't.
So I
just saw a photo, published photo road trip that a guy did with his girlfriend, and he shot it on a Rebel XT7i that he bought at Costco or Walmart or something with the kit lens. Awesome photos, beautiful photos. On I don't know, what is that, a $600 camera maybe at Sam's Club, something like that.
It's just a tool.
Yeah, very cool. Now, did you get rid of your other gear?
No, so I've got my old one as a backup. All my Canon lenses with the adapter work amazing. Not like when I tried the Sony adapter, there was a huge delay. My 85, I've got the 85 1.4 or whatever it is. It's lightning fast with the adapter on the new body. So everything is interchangeable, which is what I wanted.
And which you had the 5D Mark II?
Correct.
Okay. Are you going to get rid of it, or are you going to keep it as a backup camera?
I'm going to keep it so that way I have a backup.
Let me just say this, and this is a very serious. There are going to be some people that you work with who you're going to sort of know gut feeling you need to pull that 5D out.
Just because it's a monster.
Because it's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get
And
that.
I'm
I've
loving-
been asked by a few people, so when are you going to get a real camera?
Oh
Yeah.
my
Well,
goodness.
there's I mean, if you go to New York City and you start walking around like Lincoln Center with your 5D Mark III and a 70 to 200, they will come over and kick you off and say you're not
Yep.
allowed to photograph here. Why? I don't know, but they do. But the guy walks right next to you with a Fuji XT or a little Sony, and he can shoot a storm up because they still have that. It's a little camera. It's not a pro camera. And there are going to be some people you work with who are going to, you'll just have a feeling that it's a good time to pull out the 5D Mark III.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I know for people who, it seems like almost all the people I photograph are terrified. The smaller the camera, the smaller the lens, they just feel like if it's more cell phone size, they're kind of more used to it. But if you bring out the big one, they get even more scared.
Well, tell me, I'd love to chat with you about this 2 months from now, because I'd like to find out how your photography changes, because I believe it will. The smaller camera is so much more. Well, let's look at it this way. If you're shooting medium format film, for instance, or medium format digital, and you're on a tripod, because you've got a pretty good sized camera, right? Your way of finding pictures is going to relate to that camera on a tripod. Big DSLRs are the way that you look for pictures are going to come out with that. Then you get into the smaller cameras, and they become more light and agile, and you start to see things a little bit differently. For instance, if we look at Scott's work, this to me has never, when I first saw his work, it's never looked like a big DSLR. I mean, I just don't see it, you know? I just don't see this being big cameras. So then I talked to him, and it turns out he shoots Olympus. Because the form factor is faster, I suppose. But, and then when you look at someone like Kyle.
I think you're right. That's kind of an interesting thing, and I could do an experiment by going to one place with one camera and then going back to the same place with the other camera and see if that affects how you see it.
He's changed his website, so I don't know where that story is, darn it. We try Jake. Yeah, they're all. See if I can find the story. Okay, everybody's changed their websites up. And you see some of this work. It's not a good one. Not a good one. Not one good one to show what I wanted to show. Here we go. This is shot on medium format. A lot of it on tripod. Just a different approach to the photography. And if we pulled somebody up who shot on large format view camera, it's another different way of shooting, because that camera is going to be on a tripod. You've got to have it set, so you spend more time framing the shot to get the shot, and generally you don't get shots like this with a view camera. You don't even think about them. You get shots like this or this, but not this. How could you get a shot like this on a 4x5 or an 8x10? So sometimes these form factors play a part in our photography. So I'd like to see how your work changes a little bit. Fit the format. All right. Any other questions? Anything at all, folks? All right. Next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about these assignments coming up, because there were some questions last night, and I think I need to do this. One of the questions last night is, can there be more than one person in the photo? No, one person, one light, one person, one light. It's not I don't want it to be a corporate headshot. I want it to be much more creativity. You can see some of the beautiful ways you can use your light. Think about feather. Think about putting the light in different places to find. But this is a very creative photograph with a simple background. We've got here a simple background and one light. And then the one out here, I'm glad I did this yesterday. Product being held by a human, human holding a product. Do you see it? Two different ways to explore. We don't see his face, we don't see her face, but we see the product. They are the props. It is the hero. We see the back of his head. We see the feet. The iPad is the hero. Cut off the head, cut off the feet, got the Vespa, and the computer is the hero. Then we come down here. This is a shot of the bike. It's a beautiful shot of the bike with everything else around it. Another shot of the bike. She's kind of a prop. Shot of the bike with the guy as a prop. Then we come down here. Shot of a girl with the motorcycle's the prop. Shot of the guy, the motorcycle. Well, he is the motorcycle. Shot of a guy with a prop. Either way you approach it is fine with me. You can do both, or you can do either one. But you're not required to do both. I would only simply say that if you have somebody there with the motorcycle, try doing them both. Try presenting the motorcycle with the human as the prop, and then try the human with the motorcycle as the prop. It's going to take a little bit different visual challenges there.
Don, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I'm supposed to be, we've actually set up this thing with the SPCA for next week, for next Wednesday after class. And I was sort of thinking, how could I integrate it in with this? Because I'm going to be photographing the branch manager. And I was originally going to use it for this editorial portrait thing, but then I thought, well, given this, if I got her to maybe, she's saying that we can actually pose with a little cat or a big cat, depending on how we do it. And I'm just wondering if that would fit in with this, or should I look at a plan B?
Okay, so we've got the doctor holding the cat.
Yep.
Cat's a prop.
That's what I was thinking.
We've got the cat up front here. Let me put kitty ears on it. The cat up front here sitting on a table. The doctor's in the back, maybe even slightly out of focus, arms crossed, maybe talking to somebody else. Cat is the subject. Human is the prop.
You're thinking the same way I was. That's good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Why not? Why not? You're going to be there. You've got the human and the cat, so you're ready to go.
Yep. So note to both of us, stock up on catnip before we go.
Absolutely. We got our cats, those little fake mice, you throw them on the floor and a cat plays with them forever. 3 times now, my wife or daughter has gone through the hallway and screamed. And so, it's like, well, what do you do?
Oh dear.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Aren't you glad to be back? Isn't this fun? 2 weeks is a long time. We're back. We've got
I
Shivani
missed
back.
everybody.
What's that?
I missed everybody.
Yeah, it's just a fun group. I love to get on here and talk about photography. It makes it's a highlight of my day when we do this, and I just love it. If you guys have any questions? What's that?
Sorry. I've got one question. I spent Christmas with my parents in London, and I kind of sneakily arrived 2 days before I told them I would. So I had 2 days to go underground in London. And I went to a couple of photography exhibitions. And one of them was like a prize winner exhibition. It was all these people who had entered the specific photography prize.
Mm-hmm.
And looking around, I really appreciated the photos that had won. But I must say, I would say I have some of mine are in a very similar caliber. And I just realized that the reason, obviously, that I'm not winning prizes is because I'm not entering. But how do you choose?
You do kind of have to enter.
What to enter? Sorry?
You do kind of have to enter to win.
I know. I figured that one out. But I realized that my work, especially a lot of my travel photography, is absolutely along those standards. Does one have to have like series of work, or how do you group it to get it noticed, or do you just find a lot of competitions and enter? Because
there's travel photography is a crowded field. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't, it's a crowded field. So what? There's no way anybody could ever tell me that it's so crowded it can't handle one more. It's just, that's never going to happen, because, today somebody's quitting. Somebody in the travel photography industry is hanging up their cameras today. They're either tired of it, or they found another job, or they moved on to this, or now they're doing video or whatever. So for there's always room. So you've just got to do it. The best way to do it is to make sure that your work conforms to travel photography, but it's the way you shoot it only that matters. So you've got to have a reason to show them your work. It's got to be different enough to show them. That doesn't mean it has to be like way wildly different. It's just got to be recognizably yours. And if that's what you want to do, I would say you build your website around your travel photography and build it in stories. So you've been to, well, I know you've been to Africa, right?
Yeah, I've been to South Africa. Most of my good work, I would say, would be from Southeast Asia, but yeah.
So yeah, so did you do different countries in Asia, in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, several.
Yeah, so you do each country.
Okay, because we had spoken about getting me noticed for travel magazines and things, and you said if I follow your advice for 6 months, will get me there. I think I'm ready to start. So.
Good. Here's how Finn does it. 72 hours in Alberta, 72 hours in Fogo Island, 72 hours. So what he did was he took this little box of 3 days and 2 nights and put it around this. So all of a sudden, instead of saying Alberta, Canada, what does that mean? That means they're pictures of Alberta. Oh, wait a minute. There's only 72 hours. Oh, we get to see the pictures he took in 3 days. That's it. All of a sudden, there's a little thing around it. And I would say you find your way of putting your thing around it so that it gets noticed. And he's just done this, and then you basically start well, it's not basically. You get right out after every travel magazine in New York, London, Paris, Spain. I mean, they're all over the place. And you keep pushing your work to them. You're going to get an assignment.
Okay.
Especially because of where you live. Because a U.S. magazine doesn't have to pay travel airfare for someone to go shoot wineries in the south of France if you're already there.
True.
If your work is good enough, they're going to be happy to hire you. But you're going to find out, Shivani, there's a secret to this. It's just like the darn contests. If you don't show them your work, they don't know you're breathing air. They don't even know you're alive. So you got to show them work. And once doesn't count. Twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Get those email blasts going out on the second Wednesday of every month or whatever day you choose. And it's a haul to get from A to B. But that's where every photographer who fails, that's where they fail. They stop doing that. Or they give me a lame excuse. They go, oh, I sent out 2 emails and nobody got back to me. 2? Send out 32. Then give me a call.
When I was 15, I was looking for a job and I ended up having to send out, I think it was 98 application letters, but in the end I had 3 jobs available. So.
Yes.
But I learned that a long time ago. I'm traveling to South Africa from the end of February to the beginning of April. And this time I thought I'll plan it more with the photography in mind. And I thought, as a travel photographer, I could offer my services in return for, I don't know, discounts or being shown certain places.
You sure could.
Is there like a tip on how to sell myself?
Basically the same. Do you have a really good website? I think you do.
I wouldn't call it really good. That's what I'm going to work on next. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. The fastest way to a clean website is probably Squarespace. If you don't want to put any time or anything into it, just boom, open up the Squarespace, choose one of the ones that has all the pictures on the home page. We don't need to make them click through to see pictures. Choose one of those templates and start loading it up.
Yeah, because I've got it with a WordPress theme, but I'm not quite happy with how it works. I mean, I am a software engineer. I can program it differently, but I'll put in the times.
Well, all you need for a website is,
I think selecting the pictures has been the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, well, that's the hardest of it all. I just redid mine a little bit, and it's just really basic. But, pictures start out with overview. You can click to people. And you can scroll, I've got this is the new thing, by the way, big pictures, not little pictures. Big pictures, they can just scroll through because they're finding that a lot of people don't even want to click on them. They're too busy to click. They just want to see the pictures. So make them big and keep your navigation up here. And how you create this navigation up here, that's the most difficult part of thinking it through. When you click on something, where are they going to go? And what's that page going to look like? In Beal's thing, he's decided to have these little boxes. And by the way, this is a Squarespace, I believe.
Okay.
Let's see if we get all the way to the bottom. Come on. Yeah, this is a Squarespace thing. And it works for him. It wouldn't work for me. I'm not an editorial photographer yet, but that's what I'm going to try to change out in 2019 for myself. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet. You bet. Anyone else? Coolio, guys. I will see you all next week.
Sounds good. Everyone have a good week.
Shivani, are you going to shoot for the class?
Yeah, I plan on.
There you go. All right. I want to see pictures from everybody next week. No excuses. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.